Do you want to make lots of money? Do you want to be a crypto bro influencer? I suddenly took on a foreign accent. Let's make zillions of dollars with crypto airdrops. Fresh money created out of crypto air. Would you like to have gold coming out of your hiney? Gold coming out of your butt? Gold coming out of your teeth? Gold everywhere. Today we're going to make money. We're going to learn the elite grindset mindset because I'm a crypto influencer now. Actually, I have more to that. I have an idea. I'm going to do a crypto bro skit next. Dude, how y'all doing? Listen, I'm still a hot cop. Today, we're going to learn the dark side. I'm going to teach you that elite grindset mindset so that you can become a crypto zillionaire. Not really, but we're going to learn the principles of the system, the principles of the elite, the dark side. We're going to learn the ways of the spies, the ways of the elite money managers, pushing it to the limits, brrr, making that money machine go brrr. I'm going to teach you how to become a crypto airdrop zillionaire. Just kidding. We're not doing any of that. I'll tell you what, though. I will say this. The first time that I bought some Bitcoin, I remember feeling like, dude, I'm like freaking Val Kilmer in The Saint when he's transferring that money at the beginning. You know what I mean? When he's successfully doing whatever he's doing as Simon Templar. You know what I mean? And he's over here sipping on whiskey. He loading up the encoder, hitting the switch on that 1993-97 fat ass 20-pound laptop that he had. And he's hitting that button, right? Getting that money transferred with that encoder or whatever the hell is going on. I don't know none of this shit. I'm like, cryptography and coding. Look at this. Loading, turning on encoder, encoding. I'm like, man, the first time I bought some Bitcoin, I'm like Simon Templar, dude. I'm like Val Kilmer in The Saint. Wiring money to ski lodges in Switzerland. By the way, The Saint is still one of my favorite 90s movies. I mean, it's totally like ridiculous level propaganda. But, welcome everybody. I did watch that Val documentary. Always been a big Val fan. Grew up with Val. The Val documentary was good, but it was pretty sad. It was kind of difficult. How y'all doing tonight? Y'all ready to learn some of the secrets of the elite? Secrets. Now I'm being half serious, half not serious. Right? Everything over here is tongue in cheek, which is where your tongue goes. Your tongue go in your cheeks. So I don't even understand that phrase. It don't make no sense. By the way, if I'm on a sports stream, you can do so with super chats. Let's get into it. We just dropped. I didn't drop it yet. We just did a fire interview. A Jeff Stein McGeffrey off the cuff fire interview with Nick Bryant. It's going to be dropping very soon. It's straight up heat. But whenever I do heat interviews on my channel, it gets no traction. So I don't expect it to get zillions of views, even though it ought to get zillions of views. We'll be dropping that here in a moment. Of course, I've heard about the Voice of Reason stuff. But I mean, like, what does it take for y'all to see through these people? I don't even understand it. Like, what's the point of even talking about it? I could have told you that dude was a goober tard, a goblin, a demon, and a goober tard. I already told you he was a goober tard.
Oh, I didn't remember that. I was texting the plump booties. You have a very plump booty. The Council of Ephesus did not say that you cannot text a girl with a very plump booty.
And by the way, I said all along, he talks like TikTok from Return to Oz. And all y'all dummies, oh, Voice of Reason's got a point. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Who cares what these? I mean, I'm not saying who cares, but like I see all these trad cats defending it. Oh, you should have shared it. What a bunch of freaking losers, dude. I don't even want to spend any time in the loser sphere. I can't believe that the losers were acting like the losers that they are. What? Losers were acting like losers?
The Council of Ephesus made an error when it said that you can't talk about plump booties. I would like a plump booty on my face. This is for some reason. Could I send you some more texts?
Get out of here. What did you expect? Duh.
I can't believe that the tards were acting like tards. What?
Out of here with Loserville. Go back to Loserville, trad cats. Stay in Loserville. We over here with the elite grind set. I'm going to make you $15 zillion. Learning how to be a crypto influencer. Number 1, create a motherboard. Number 2, send Bitcoin in email to all your friends and family. Get them to buy and purchase land inside of Mexico for pennies on the dollar. Then convert those pesos into degencoin out of the Soviet Union. Then email the degencoin back to FTX and give it to Sam Bankman-Fried, who will then convert that money back into bonds that you can sell for gold to Peter Schiff. I'm going to make you a crypto zillionaire. That was actually a skit I did a long time ago. the crypto zillionaire influencer skit. People thought when I made that I was dissing Bitcoin. But dude, I'm not dissing Bitcoin, you dumbass. I'm buying this. I'm buying this. Think I'm dissing that shit. I'm over here, Val Kilmer and the Saint, bro. I'm transferring money to Switzerland. Over here, wiring cryptos to my Cayman Islands bank account, and then I'm making a withdrawal from the ATM and then turning that cash over for a profit to my business accounts in London, City of London. And then I'm taking out a loan, not an interest. No, I'm just joking. I don't even know what I'm doing. None of that shit even matters. I'm just saying words, dude. I'm just like, convertible bonds. I don't even know. Just saying words.
I can't believe the Roman trad cats were acting like a bunch of gay weirdos.
Dude, the Roman Catholic priests are all gay anyway. That's like 10 times worse than that dude.
Everybody, I can't believe that this fat Mexican dude was drunk sexting.
It's like, dude, the priests are all with boys. What are you talking about? The fuck out of here.
The fuck out of here with this shit.
The fuck out of here. I'm going full Tony Soprano on this stuff now.
The fuck out of here with this.
Carmela, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, elite grind set. Don't you love how like male influencer dudes are like just so they're like their own little genre of goofballs?
I'm gonna make you into a crypto zillionaire. Number 1, buy a gateway computer from 1999. Number 2, get lots of money. Number 3, bury that money in an unmarked grave. Number 4, back your cryptocurrency on top of unmarked graves.
Anyway, let's get into it, or else I'm just going to keep rambling. I do think I do have a pretty good idea for a crypto bro character, a crypto bro influencer person, because they're all over YouTube and they're really annoying, and TikTok and everywhere, right? And a lot of the crypto dudes are like these Aussies. I'm going to show you how to make $4 zillion. $4 zillion with an airdrop token out of me bum. We'll do that later. Fukati. Fook is more of a Brit thing. That's more of a Liam Gallagher, Manchester type of thing. All right, let's get back to the elite grind set. We are going to be engaged in some edutainment today. So I hope everybody's ready to learn. Now, we're not going to learn how to be bad. We're going to learn to be wise as serpents, right? And we're going to look at some of the techniques, tactics, and tricks of the system. We're going to watch some of that curly Andrew Bustamante stuff. We're going to watch some of this Tucker going off stuff. We're going to watch some espionage stuff. And we're going to learn how the system really works so that we can actually beat the system. For real, though. Not tongue-in-cheek. Let's hear what Tucker's saying. And this is relevant because we're going to be dropping my fire interview that we just did with Nick Bryant here in a moment. Right here.
What's going on? This guy had direct connections to a foreign government.
Do you think there's any intel community involvement in this? Three options: MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
Which one would you choose?
And how can somebody pledge allegiance to two countries?
Why can I burn an American flag in my country, but I get a mark by my name if I burn Israel's?
I think it's the most grotesque thing I've ever heard.
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys.
We've got our good friend here, Jake Rattlesnake, who, by the way, if he wasn't such a beige chad man, will be a perfect crypto influencer, bro. He's right down from under, and he can be a perfect crypto influencer.
Carlson
I'm going to take you to the Thunderdome. Thunderdome coin.
just appeared at a TPUSA conference and absolutely threw a grenade into the mix.
The territorial integrity of the country, bringing in tens of millions of people illegally, giving them free stuff the second they get here, making a mockery of citizenship. I hated all of that.
Go off, Queen. Go off, Queen.
But the thing I hated most was their total unwillingness to answer.
We should be good, dog. I want to say that maybe my mouse just accidentally hit the end live stream button. I think that's what happened. I think I just lightly grazed the end the live stream button on accident. But let's get back to it. Don't worry, everybody. We're still here. I'm still standing, gayer than I ever been. I'm still standing. Demian became a member. What's up? No one gives $5. He says, Exmo here. What the heck is Exmo? Is that like a former emo? You're emo. You feel all dark and gothic? Bro, I'm Exmo. I don't know if you know about Joseph Smith's modalism, but it was removed in 1921. Well, they didn't do too good because the modalism is still in the Book of Mormon. So I do know about that. Cuts Corners became became a #1 super chatter, and he sends $10. He says, hey, yo, I grew up a Protestant. Is that misspelled on purpose? You and Andrew led the way with orthodoxy. I'm curious, I have questions. When you have time, I'd like to talk. Bro, I'm an e-celebrity diva. Okay, I'm out here. I'm a e-diva that's like a work bitch e-diva. I'm like Britney Spears. I'm like Beyonce. So I'm out here touring. I'm out here learning to twerk. I'm out here running my yogurt pants OnlyFangs. That is an alternate website where people have vampire fetishes, but mine is OnlyFangs in yogurt pants. I'm not going to tell you what yogurt pants are. You got to go figure that out. Point being, I can't just talk to everyone. That's why you get to call in on live streams. When we do an open forum, you're welcome to call in, dog. Straight white male, $5. Ortho bros remain undefeated.
That's until I start dirty texting you. When I start to dirty text you, then you become my slave, and then you convert to my system.
Straight white male, $5. Next, do a comedy live stream dedicated to laughing at conspiracy theories that hinge on word concept fallacies. We were just talking about that in one of my little private chat groups with my friends. I know y'all don't think I got no friends, but I do. And we were just laughing about that. We were talking about Jordan Maxwell.
Of course, if you understand the way that conspiracy theories work, they all hinge upon using words like For example, the god of the planet Mars is the same word as a Mars candy bar. Therefore, when you eat a Mars candy bar, you are also spitting bars like a rapper spits bars. Therefore, rappers are under the guidance of the god of Mars, rap battle, aka rapping for Mars.
Literally like that level of stupid shit. Taylor Richardson, $5. I got some questions. I have questions about Mariology, Orthodox, holder in high esteem. You're correct. I'm in a crazy ass mood today, y'all. Is this guy drinking? Does he drink alcohols? What the hell is with this guy? You think I drink alcohol after I rant about big tittied IPA bros? Hell no, man. Get that alcohol out of my face, dog. I hate alcohol. I'm drinking straight out sludge. WD-40, not WD-40. What's the name? What's the numbers of the oils? Right, 1040 oil, or whatever the oil numbers. I'm drinking straight oil sludge, dude. Freaky Angelo, $2. Jay, who was in Paris? I don't even know what that means. Freaky Angelo, Paris. Macron, that's who. Macron's hot wife, that's who was in Paris. Squirrel in Oz, can you please watch and review I Pet Goat? It's very esoteric. Dude, that shit's retarded, man. I've watched that shit. I watched that stuff back when it was popular. It's retarded. Riptide, $2. OnlyFangs is a World of Warcraft guild. No, it isn't. That's my alternative vampire fetish tight yogurt pants channel. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. I can't say much more, or else we'll get an NC-17 rating on this stream. All right, we got to get back to our boy Tucker. We got to get back to Tucker over here.
For whatever it's worth, in case you're interested, is that the DOJ didn't release lots of incriminating sex videos with Epstein and his billionaire pals because they don't have them. They don't have them because when the original search...
I forgot to ask Nick in our interview today what he thinks about the rumors going around that what if other agencies have copies of those videos, which is an interesting thought.
Warrant was served 2007, I think, possibly 2006, I think 7. It was basically designed to protect Epstein. The search warrant was written in such a way to make sure that the feds never got their hands on the actually incriminating evidence. It's another way of saying the cover-up has been going on since 2007, almost 20 years. And so the real question is not, was Jeffrey Epstein a weirdo who was abusing girls? Yes, we can answer that. The real question is, why was he doing this, on whose behalf, and where did the money come from? And
Duh. Everybody that's read Whitney's excellent book, by the way, knows what's going on, right? I think I had the best zinger about all y'all want to talk about is dang voice of greasing over here.
Voice of greasing. I will grease you up. Very good. You have a very plump booty.
Dude can't even sext right. Dude's sexting was freaking retarded, just like his face. I had the best zinger, I think. Where was it at? Why y'all want to diss Voice of Reason? They all argue it's the same God as Muhammad anyway, so he's just following his Muhammadan God. So why are you dissing it? Oh, that's a zinger right there. Zing, ding, zing, 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 zing.
those are the questions that need to be answered. And I think it's entirely fair to ask them. And it's not adequate to say anyone who asked them is somehow desecrating the memory of little girls who died in Texas. I'm not going to put up with that answer. I don't care who gives that answer. That is not acceptable.
Dude, ain't nobody buying this stuff. I put up a basic bitch tweet and got like 44,000 views, 1,500 likes on a basic bitch. Just nobody believes this. It's so stupid.
And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every...
Word up. Dude, Tucker is killing it. I don't understand the haters. Everybody wants, oh, he's working for... Dude, he's killing it. And I disagree with some of his takes. He's done some dumb interviews on alien bullshit. And I don't agree with Bitcoin Cash and Roger Ver. But other than that, dude, he's killing it. So.
Right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in...
I can tell you how he does it. He becomes a millionaire, zillionaire, crypto bro.
Woo! Switching between normal voice and Aussie crypto bro influencer just about caused me to have a meltdown.
Manhattan. Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover...
Yeah, for real. By the way, little bit of bragging here. I don't mean to toot my horn, but I got to do a little bit of bragging. Oh, we're just a little bit of bragging. You know, we don't want to toot our horn, but we don't want to toot our horn right now. But okay, folks, but I've got to do a little bit of bragging right now. Okay, dude, get this nasty hoe off here. Now we ain't talking about Azalea Banks, nasty hoe. Dudley Peterson.
Women at the gates of hell. Women at the gates of hell. You gonna start your own laughing club. You start your own laughing club.
That's amazing. Watch this. I'm about to show y'all. I'm about to toot my horn. I'm about to toot my own little horn. Woo! 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 Uh-oh. Now, in the last 3 months, we had, for whatever reason, our biggest time ever. Probably because of all those podcasts. Now, this is the year graph, right? Jesse Lee Peterson, of course, has been far larger. However, if we look at the web search here, what do we notice there? Oh, last couple months. Woo! Oh, we, for the first time ever, on web search, which is more broad, bigger audience, we beat JLP.
That's amazing.
Now check this out. Oh, interesting. We also on YouTube for the last few months beat out Jesse Lee Peterson multiple times. Interesting. Now, we have not ever beat out. There's a reason why I'm telling you this. It's not just talking smack. There's a reason why. Hold on. All right, so now check this out. We have never topped Abby Martin, but we did for the first time ever on both. We topped out Abby Martin. There's a reason why I'm telling you this, right? We blew away Abby Martin on YouTube 100-1, or 100-5, I should say. Okay. In the last year, we blowed it out. Oh, now even in the web searches, we blowed out Abby Martin. Look at this. I'm telling you this for a reason. The last 3 months were the biggest ever for what we do. Now, why am I saying this? People like Patrick Bet David, he looks at the subscribers. And I understand why. Okay, yeah, 106 followers. Okay, that's not celebrity zillions, is it? Okay, what about YouTube? Okay. We're looking at YouTube. We're at 170. That's not celebrity zillions either. But now, wait a minute. 170 over here. Okay. Wait a minute. Remember what Mohammed Hijab said? You don't have the clout, son. You don't have the clout to be over here debating me. Oh, really? Well, let's check out Mohammed Hijab and the clout meter. Let's check the official Google clout meter. Who's winning? Ooh, okay, let's see. Mohammed Hijab. Oh, wait a minute. In the last year, we doubled on broader web search audience. Even the broader audience, We're twice Muhammad Hijab in the last year. Let's check out YouTube. Oh, we're almost triple Muhammad Hijab on YouTube in the last year. And in the last 3 months, blowed it out, dude. 80 to 20. Who's got the clout? Check it out. Dude, nobody in the last 3 months have even come close. They ain't even came close, bro. I'm talking about in the alt media sphere. Now, obviously, you got big name people. You got divas. Okay, you got a little bit of Beyonce. You got a little bit of... All right, so, but we're catching up. Okay, that's what I'm saying. We're catching up. If we're over here topping out Abby Martins, we're over here blowing away Muhammad Hijabs, I think we are in the tier, son, of debating them. That's what I think. I think we up in that tier. This diva work bitch mindset, the grind set, has paid off. In fact, I was even blown away. If we pick popular bands that even I like, we blowed them away too. You think, oh, London Grammar, that's a pop band. They're popular. Oh, really? We've been blowing away London Grammar on YouTube. And I think we even beat them on web search too. Oh, look at that. Your boy right here in the last year is more popular than London Grammar on YouTube and web searches. So get out of here with all of this. You're not popular enough. You got to sit at the dork table. I'm over here at the sneaky Muslim table because I'm popular. No, you ain't popular, dude. That's all fake anyway. These numbers is fake except when we come over here to the Google Trends. Google Trends ain't lying now. We're blowing up everybody, son. I'm blowing everybody. Gross, dude. Ew, gross. Pick somebody else. What's the point of this? Is like ain't nobody got no excuses anymore. No more excuses. Oh, he's not big enough. Oh, really? The people that go on the Rogan show all the time and the Tucker shows, dude. Tucker's had Doug freaking Wilson on, bro. Are you serious? We beat Doug Wilson. For the first time ever, right here. No, I take that back. We tied Doug Wilson. We got right up there, touching his beer belly. Okay, that's in the broader web searches. However, of course we blow Doug Wilson away on. We're like 100 of the 80 to 8 in YouTube. Okay. And yet, Doug Wilson, are you serious? Who listens to Doug Wilson except a bunch of goobers? And by the way, in the sphere of the religious peoples on the internet or whatever, nobody's even up here. Nobody. Who you want? Trent Horn? Dude, you serious? We blew Trent Horn away. Watch this. Oh, look at that. Well, I take that back. On the web searches, it looks like we're evened out. Okay, but now wait a minute. What about YouTube? Oh, now wait a minute. I thought Trent Horn was blowing it away on YouTube. If you look at the numbers, you would think Trent Horn is like no. We're twice Trent Horn on YouTube. So even with all of the money and support of Catholic Answers, this goofball still can't win. Imagine if I had giant diocesan zillion-dollar support. Yes, we beat out Sam Shamoon too, by the way. Watch this. Let's see what Orb Boy is up here over. Let's listen to the Orbs. The Orbs have spoken. Sam Shaloon, Shamu, Scamu, Shamoon, Scam, Shamu. Sam Shamoon. YouTube. In the last year, we have beaten Sam Shamoon decently. He he was popping off in March, and then it's dying down. Now let's check web search. Oh, beating him on the web search over the year too. Look at that. So not even scam shimmy. So don't let the numbers that you see on YouTube fool you. The metrics are here, and we're doing it. We're doing it and doing it and doing it. Wow. Anyway, let's get back to this. Where are we at?
It's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government.
It's funny you said Ruslan. I mean, if you check some of the Google metrics, it depends on how they're searching it. Because nobody's searching Ruslan. They might be searching Bless God or whatever his name is, the name of the podcast I'm saying. But point is, man, I mean, there's no excuse for anybody to be like, oh, you don't have the numbers. What? In the last 3 months and the last year, we do have the numbers. So that is not true.
Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying.
Finally, somebody's talking about some real truths at a right-wing event.
That. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against you.
I can't believe all this hate speech in this. Oh my gosh, so much. Oh my gosh. The hate speech. I can't believe it. So much hate. I already talked about Voice of Reason multiple times. I did impressions for you. What else is there to say, dude? I told you so for the 1,000th time. How long are y'all going to keep listening to retards? You know what? Go listen to retards, man. This channel is for crypto maxing influencer Aussie bros who want to make crypto zillions and get a Bugatti. Do you got a Bugatti? We're going to get Bugattis over here. Y'all going to go over there and text with fat, greasy Mexican dudes. Go for it, bro. Please go over there. This channel is for crypto. This channel's for crypto bro maxis. We're over here mixing out our crypto portfolios from down under. We're going to make zillions with a crypto grindset mindset. That's what we're about over here.
Your interest. That's not creepy. It shouldn't be forbidden. And yet all of us have trained ourselves to believe that you can't say that somehow. That that's like too naughty and forbidden. And the effect of making that off limits has been to create a lot of resentment, and I'll say it, hate online. Where people feel like they can't just say, like, what the hell is this? You have the former Israeli prime minister living in your house. You have had all this contact with the foreign government. Were you working on behalf of Mossad? Were you running a blackmail operation on behalf of a foreign government? By the way, every single person in Washington, D.C. thinks that. I've never met anyone who doesn't think that. I don't know any of them that hate Israel, but no one feels they can say that. Why? And I think the
yeah, exactly. People are no longer doing the bull crap. People are tired of it. We're done. It's over. Yeah, man.
So last year. And if you want evidence of this, which I don't have time to go through today, but maybe I'll do a live stream sometime, Whitney Webb wrote a book called One Nation Under Blackmail, in which...
That is not Whitney Webb, by the way. I don't know who that picture is, but it's not Whitney Webb.
She goes through this in
But that is my publisher, and Esoteric Hollywood 3 will be out in the next few weeks. Don't worry. There might be. I've had to do some changes. The publisher and the editors have requested some changes. So yesterday I rewrote 5 paragraphs. I have to go through and do one more series of edits, and then I think we're done.
exhaustive detail. But like I said towards the start of this video, this isn't the first time that we have actually seen Tucker speaking about this very issue recently. He did a podcast with Saga from Breaking Points this week, and this is what they had to say.
I'll speak for myself. I never thought that I would be offering an apology to Jeffrey Epstein. I think of all the times I've maligned that guy, all the times I'm accused him of crimes, of blackmailing people, of trafficking children to powerful figures around the world on behalf of global intel services. And then I learned yesterday from Attorney General Pam Bondi that's totally untrue.
Yes, yeah.
The guy killed himself after 36 days in prison for no reason. He was a billionaire. Mm-hmm. He had no clients. He'd done nothing wrong.
Dude, people on the internet are so stupid that that little clip right there was going around, and people thought that Tucker was actually being serious. Like, they couldn't tell sarcasm. So, I don't know what's going on with everybody being hit with a tard ray. They can't figure basic shit out anymore. So, man. I mean, we're just going to make this the podcast about how everybody's dumb. How's that? Just everything is fake and gay, dumb podcast. That's it.
Then get like naughty massages 20 years before. And the guy killed himself, another pointless death. And then his best friend, former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, doing 20 years in prison for no crime. There are no victims.
Yes, it's a victimless crime. They're obviously persecuted by the state.
Yes.
They're political prisoners, really. It's
Definitely hits a lot different at the TPUSA conference just because of what TPUSA is traditionally. It's the big tent mainstream conservative movement, or as mainstream as you sort of get in the alternative media space, I guess. But if we thought it was surprising what...
So can I be on all these big podcasts now? Can I be invited to speak at the big concert now that this has been like... So are we no longer like dangerous people? I don't understand. And remember, we have just topped out in the last 3 months all of the big name people for the most part. I mean, obviously we haven't beaten, like we're not going to top out Sam Hyde or, big name people or Alex Jones or anything like that. But like all the mid-tier goobers that are all over podcasts as guests or whatever, do we beat out all these people? So it's time. It's time, son. I'm right here. Your boy is sitting right here. Right here. Theology Explorer, $2. When you ship books from your shop, it's been over 3 weeks. I told you guys that the book orders are behind precisely because there's hundreds of orders for Esoteric Hollywood 3. So I have to go through and figure out which orders are not including Esoteric Hollywood 3. So it's kind of a challenge. But I will be going through and doing another order this week. So we're going to be trying to catch up on the orders if you didn't order as part of your order Esoteric Hollywood 3. Simon sends $3.49. What's up, Simon? Simon says, and then he says nothing. Get it? Simon says, and there's nothing there. Get it? True Strength, $2. Do you have any books on corruption in the U.S. intelligence agencies? I mean, Whitney Webb's books. Corruption in intelligence agencies. Paul Williams Gladio book. The Intelligence Game by Russ Bridger. Full Spectrum Dominance by Ingdahl. There's a shit ton, dude. Gary G, $5. What politicians are Rhodes, Milner, Fabian, Rothschild, Rockefeller, Mossad captured? The answer is all of them. Are there any exceptions? I just think you don't get very far in politics. You might be, you might be a senator or Ron Paul or something like that. That's not totally captured and compromised. But you're not going to be like, typically speaking, going beyond that very far.
came out of Tucker's mouth. Then just have a look at this next clip, which is a visibly uncomfortable Charlie Kirk speaking with Megyn Kelly about the exact same topic.
Do you think there's any intel community involvement in this?
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I am convinced, based on my own sources and my own reporting on this story, he wasn't one of ours.
So he was an American, which leads...
Yeah, right.
Basically 3 options, MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
Which one would you choose?
I guess Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, that's surprising. I'm surprised that we're actually saying these things at these normie conservative events. I mean, I guess, so are we going to get apologies for being called names all these years? And I mean, where are we at now? Straight white male, $5. No, we did that. Corey Sanders, $5. Jay, do you feel like Noah trying to tell people about the arc of Bitcoin to save themselves from financial destruction? Absolutely a great analogy. Yes. Bitcoin is Noah's ark of economics. And if you can't see it at this point, dude, did I not tell y'all? It's about to pop off. And we just popped off, didn't we? I mean, we went to 123 last night. It's still fake, dude. It ain't real. It's a No one says for $2. Your videos on Mormonisms are spot on, by the way. Chef's kiss. Thank you. Groove Monster 1992, $10. I just finished reading Secret Society's Rhodes' Plan for an NWO. It was published by Penguin. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that Penguin Publishers had a book like that. Let me see here. Sounds like something we're gonna have to get. By the way, I'm still trying to get through Max Blumenthal's book, which overall very good information, but some of the chapters with the leftist socialist stuff is just so annoying. But overall, I mean, it's worth the read, even though his lefty socialist stuff is just starting to get on my nerves. But I've got a few more chapters, and then we'll finally do the full analysis of that book. There's a section on how Cecil Rhodes had an idol of Ra that he worshipped. Well, I didn't know that. Plus, Rhodes had a large occult library. I did not know. I knew that. Well, I mean, he was interested in masonry. The Rhodes Plan Secret Society. Rhodes Plan for NWO by Penguin. Always get the books that you guys recommend typically. Okay, I think that's caught up on the super chats there. Let's get back to this.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's possible that that's the reason everything's getting buried, that there is some treasure trove, and it's getting buried because...
How many people here believe that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'd say about half the hands think that it's being buried because of an Israeli thing.
It could be. I really don't know.
And I have no evidence to suggest that.
No, me neither. I did think it was very odd how, look, half of you raised your hands.
A few calls from some donors over the coming days.
First off, I'd like to thank you for coming to this event. I'm 20 years old. I've been watching you for the past 12 years of my whole life. Every single night, I've always listened to you. So thank you for coming. We love to listen to your opinions.
Man, what's wrong with this dude in the audience? He sounds like a damn Southern slow boy, and reinforcing all the stereotypes, making all of us Southerners look like we're damn slow boys. I've been watching you every night for 20 years, and do you like pecans or molasses?
Listen to you preach basically to everyone. My question is, in your opinion, we have individuals in this country that are full citizens that are also full citizens of other countries. In your opinion, how can somebody pledge allegiance to two countries at the same time? And is that something that we should be allowed?
I pledge allegiance to the dreidel. I pledge allegiance to the yarmulke of all times. Thank you. My name is Woody Allen.
I mean, I think your question says it all. Obviously, that's absurd. I quote the New Testament, but I also refer to common sense when I say that no man can serve two masters. It's not possible. I only have one wife for that reason. You say to your wife, I'm going to take another wife, but I'm going to love you just as much. Nothing's going to change. My wife's going to look at me like, no, it's one wife.
Yeah. Again, if you're so stupid as to think that because I say the system is rigged, that means that everything in your life is rigged, then there's no point in you being in this audience. So go be poor. Have fun staying poor and leave us alone. This is no longer a slow boy friendly audience. This is a fast boy only audience. You have had 8 years of me telling you what to do, in my opinion, allegedly, because I can't give you financial advices. And then you want to fuss and bitch. Go fuss and bitch, dude. Go elsewhere to fuss and bitch. This is, you're under arrest, not just for being not hot, but also for being slow boy.
Because you can only really pledge your loyalty to one person or one country. That's just a fact. And there's also a sense, and this is relevant to me, and I know you're speaking about Israel, but it's not just Israel, to be honest. I think it's a huge problem. I think anybody, by the way, who serves in a foreign military should lose his citizenship immediately. There are a lot of Americans who've served in the IDF. They should lose their citizenship. There's a lot of Americans who've served in Ukraine, and they should lose their citizenship. You can't fight for another country and remain an American, period.
I can't believe we're at this point. This is crazy that this, I mean, the stuff that I talked about 10, 12 years ago, which got me in a lot of trouble, called names, saying it. Where are the apologies, by the way, to people who came at me and went after me for so long?
Obviously. I mean, it's like not even, it's so funny how all of us have been cowed into being like, oh, that's hate speech. No, it's not. You don't hear hate in my voice because there isn't any. It's just an obvious recognition of the truth. But there's a more insidious thing, and I say it's not just Israel. I'm not just trying to like give myself cover. I'm being honest. There are a ton of countries that offer citizenship, actually, some of which I love. I have been offered citizenship in a couple different countries that I really like, and I thought about it. And then I thought, no, there's something about being lashed to the mast. Like, everyone can see that America's in trouble, the demographic trends are really bad, and the country's decaying, its cities are falling apart. So you're
exactly, dog. All right. Here is Jake's show. You can go watch the rest of Jake's clip here. We'll stop there. Guys, if you want to support the stream, you can do so by clicking the Streamlabs link to Super Chat. You can also Super Chat natively through YouTube as well. Thank you guys for your support. That keeps the show going. Tucker had his mind changed about the Big 9 event. So you're talking about stuff a long time ago that now Tucker has famously changed his position and admitted that the Big 9 is not what we were told. So, and again, just all the bitching and the whining. Do you guys ever get tired of bitching and whining? Like, does it ever just, like, do you just wake up and be like, okay, maybe today I'm not going to just bitch and whine in chats on the internet? I'm not talking to my native audience. I'm talking to the new people that have come over and bitch and whine about stuff. And dude, Bitcoin's going to be $1 million, and you're still going to have these idiots being like, it's a pyramid Ponzi scheme. This is worth zero. It's going to $0.
oh, wow. You know, maybe I should flee.
All right, we're going to get into the grindset mindset over here. We're going to get smart. We're going to learn how to be Val Kilmer's as Simon Templar in The Saint. Okay, so we're going to learn some of our skill sets. We're going to start today in our infotainment with Andrew Bustamante, whom we have commented on several times in terms of his videos that tell you about his experiences in the CIA. And a lot of the videos are just yapping and talking about not much. This one was pretty good, though, so let's listen to a little bit of this.
Misconceptions I've heard.
Elite grind set. We're going to learn elite grind set today.
You talk about when it comes to picking up on cues and picking up on whether or not somebody's telling you the truth or not is the fact that you think that, most of the time you shouldn't trust your gut. Talk about why you think that and what people should do instead.
So when people talk about trusting their gut, or when someone encourages you to trust your gut, what they're saying is that you should basically lean into your perception of the world. Lean into your...
Damn, dude, who punched out Andrew Bustamante's tooth on the bottom there? I got an extra Revel tooth that's been effing me up for a long time, my whole life. I should donate that to Andrew. He could put in that blank there.
Worldview. But we've already discussed, like, your worldview is biased. Your worldview is limited. Your lens that you use is flawed. It's not as accurate as the true world around you. It's subjective.
This is a very important point. I'm going to agree with Andrew Bustamante right here. And you're going to say, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like your whole apologetics approach. No, but it is. What he's saying here is what they teach spies and people in, his world about reading people, reading situations, and reading and interpreting the data to understand and to try to get the situation right. And what he's saying right here is actually the key reason why so many people get everything wrong. Whether it's tradcats in their tradcat bubble who interpret everything wrongly and keep following dum-dums to oblivion,
like Voice of Reason.
Or whether it is the dum-dums in the normie world who can't interpret or understand the deep state or shadow puppeteer masters or any of that stuff and what's really going on in the uniparty system as a control structure thing. Or whether it's the dum-dums that keep insisting that Bitcoin is worthless and it's a Ponzi scheme and it's a scam and on and on. Like, everybody in these bubbles that's wrong is suffering from the same delusion of doubling down on thinking that they know what's real and what's the case and how things work. And rather than listening and hearing out other positions to see if you might be wrong, to better yourself, it's a innate approach of, I'm going to listen to myself because ultimately I worship and love myself and my own system, and I don't want to be wrong out of ego and pride. That's what most people do because we're fallen. And even though the CIA is a corrupt institution, they're very good at understanding human psychology and human motivations. So what Andrew Bustamante is telling you is absolutely correct here, that the more that you don't consider the possibility of other positions being correct, actually the worse it is for you. But we do that because we don't want to be wrong. We want to be right. We want to get everything right. We don't ever want to say that we got anything wrong, which is retarded because everybody gets things wrong every day. The only way that you can get better as a person, mature as a person, flourish as a person, is to make mistakes and learn from them and learn from other people who usually have something to teach you. Even a dum-dum, even an idiot has something to teach you. But humans are prideful. That's the number one problem with human beings, is the fall created a bunch of little pride goblins. And we're all little pride goblins. And it's just like Socrates learned in the Apology, the way to be correct is to be willing to be incorrect.
Not objective. So if anything, we're encouraged at CIA never to trust our gut, because your gut is the most untrustworthy thing in your body. Consider the fact that the human brain, your brain and mine, is inherently lazy. The human brain does not like to work hard. Like, people who procrastinate, there's nothing wrong with them. That is the natural way of doing things. Every single human being procrastinates something in some way. We wait until the latest possible minute to brush our teeth. We wait until the latest possible minute to go to the bathroom. We wait until the latest possible minute to stop doing the things that we love to do. Like, we inherently procrastinate because the human brain does not like to use extra energy to accomplish a task. It likes to use the minimum amount of energy to accomplish a task.
So this is an important point, that one reason that human beings do not want to relearn what they've learned is precisely out of laziness. Because if the monetary system, for example, is wrong and it's based on frauds and cons, and fiat currency is a scam and it's a disaster, people that are raised in that system, the Wall Street bro, the stonk boomer, they don't want to start over learning from scratch. They don't want to say, I've been wrong. Because to admit that Bitcoin is the future and is future money and is ethical money would mean that, wait a minute, that would mean the existing system is not ethical and is a scam. But I'm a Wall Street zillionaire, bro. How could I be wrong? Well, both things can be true. You could be a Wall Street zillionaire and also still have things wrong. But as we've seen, for example, with so many of the arrogant boomers, it's almost impossible for them to admit that they're wrong about something. Why? What is so difficult about admitting that you're wrong? It's so weird. I've been wrong many times. And I think as you get older, this is kind of what Socrates was getting at. The mystery of knowledge is that you have to keep being wrong and unknowing to know. The only way to progress is to actually admit, okay, I got some things wrong. So the context in which he's talking about not following your gut is precisely on these kinds of things. The gut reaction, for example, when I first heard about Bitcoin, was that's a scam. It's an electronic currency that's going to trap us. It's preparing us for the future of world currency, blah, 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 blah. All the million FUD stories that you've heard. I was wrong. I was totally wrong. And it was a costly error. You can also make costly errors. But the only way to know that you're making costly errors is to have some degree of humility to listen to the possibility that other people might actually know more than you. Other people might actually have a right position, and you might actually be wrong. But it's actually a very weak, fragile person who is scared of being wrong, who actually ends up being his own worst enemy. It's not the Illuminati and the evil deep state and the Jews and the women and the oppressors and it's actually you that are your number one worst enemy. Did you ever think about that?
So the way that you often achieve that is by waiting until the last minute before you actually make a decision. Waiting until the last minute before you think something through. Waiting until the last minute before you consider somebody else's point of view. So trusting your gut means doing what your body finds natural, which is inherently the laziest, least energetic thing that you can do. Because
just the idea, typically, for example, again, to use Bitcoin, when people talk about this, they'll say, before you attack Bitcoin, at least go do the research on it because 95% of the criticism, and I've seen it since 2017 and even before that, before I was into it, 97% of the criticism is just people reciting what they think sounds smart on the internet from other smart people. So they just repeat. They don't actually know what they're talking about. They're just repeating shit. They're little repeaters. Twitter is a repeat machine of all of the idiots out there. I mean, it's essentially worthless, really. Unless you have some business or message that you're putting out, Twitter is worthless. Before Jordan Peterson said it, by the way, I've been saying for a long time, humans were not meant to hear the thoughts of millions of idiots every day. We weren't. It's unnatural and weird. And first of all, why do you care? Who cares what a zillion idiots are saying? Their thoughts are probably not worth listening to. I'm talking about the average riffraff idiots. There are plenty of intelligent people who do have things to teach you that are worth listening to. But now we spend all of our time staring into the abyss of the infinity idiot mind and the thousands of tweets of idiots every day, which are essentially a time-zapping exercise in worthlessness and futility. What is it doing for you? To read the thoughts of 1,000 idiots? To read the thoughts of 1,000 idiots every day is my goal. I shall achieve apotheosis through reading 1,000 tarts. What? Waste of time. Anyway.
Human brain is built for survival. So there's lots of reasons why you should not trust your gut. Instead, what you should trust is what we call something, we call it assessment versus assumption. Assessment is what you should be doing. And the process of gaining or of creating an assessment means that you are constantly collecting data, especially cognitive dissonant data, which means conflicting data. You're constantly collecting data and processing that data intentionally so that you can create a current and viable perspective on what's happening around you. So if you're getting ready to have a conversation with your boss, or if you're getting ready to have a conversation with your spouse, you want to actively and intentionally be collecting information from all around you. Simple example, if you have a conversation with your spouse at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's very different than if you have a conversation with your spouse at 10 o'clock in the morning. Because by 5 o'clock in the afternoon, both of you have expended your energy. The kids have probably stressed you out. Chores of the day have stressed you out. You're probably thinking about 200 things at once.
All right,
whereas at 10 o'clock in the morning,
we spent like a good bit of the conversation talking about other people.
By the way, who is this fake ass Taylor Marshall? Actually, this is the cooler Taylor Marshall. This dude looks like if Taylor Marshall was a Beastie Boy.
And how we can pick up if other people are lying, not telling the truth, being deceitful, etc. I think people in general, like I've said, have a hard time with tough conversations. It can come across as being unconfident, maybe shy, a bit nervous, and that can be off-putting to somebody who maybe doesn't know them as well. What tips do you have for somebody to be able to gain more empowerment during a conversation and to appear more confident if there's somebody that has a hard time with that?
By the way, this is also relevant for all the dorks who never talked to a girl and don't know how to ask a girl out on a date. It's different now. It ain't like it was when you were single a few years ago. Really? Is it that different? I mean, I'm married, but when I'm out with Jamie, I see single waitresses that could easily be asked out were there a single dude with us. So I don't think it's that different. I think dorks are just looking for excuses because they live their lives on the internet. There's no women.
Yeah, unfortunately, the truth here is a truth that most people don't like to hear, right? All of self-improvement doesn't actually start with improving yourself. You're not actually going to improve yourself very quickly. You can have very fast success, but you cannot have very fast personal improvement because personal improvement is something that oftentimes doesn't happen until after you have seen that something works. It's not like working out. When you go to the gym and you try to bench press,
all right, this is boring. Come on,
get better. The value to professional and personal improvement is doing something today. Now, the first thing you have to understand is that it's not about you at all. It's about how other people perceive you, because they're living in a perception. They're living in a world where their perception is their reality, whereas their perspective is something they're not even trying to develop.
Yeah, this is an interesting point, right? Kissinger talked about controlling the perception of reality is more important than controlling reality. So all that you have to do is manage perception, and you can control everyone's minds, basically. And he's saying this more on a micro scale, individualized scale, where he's talking about most people are not really interested in figuring out what's really going on. They're just going by appearances. And so he's talking about here in cases of like, if you're asked to do a public speaking thing, or if you're, you got to do a presentation for your company and you're scared to be up in front of the crowd, or you've been asked to speak at an event and all this kind of stuff. Like, you're going to need the skill set of faking it at that point, right? So this is a positive usage, for example, of the skill set of acting or at least appearing to be confident. Oh, you're lying. We got Spurgs in the chat. I'll be like, that's lying. That's lying. No. Being able to be confident, even in a situation where your emotions are telling you that you're not confident, is actually being confident, right? So I'll give you an example. The first time I called in to Lord Voldemort in 2007, I was super nervous. I'd never been on radio. I'd never talked on radio. I'd done public speaking stuff. I've done acting, play stuff in high school. I'd done stand-up before. So I wasn't totally alien to talking to a crowd, but I've never called into and talked on the spot in some kind of like public, national radio forum or whatever. And even at that time, Alex was on hundreds of radio stations. I had drips of sweat dripping down as I talked on the radio. I was super nervous. But because it was the first time I'd ever done that. And I talked okay. I did decent, right? I probably stumbled a little bit. Maybe the nervousness, you could hear it in my voice a little bit. But the point being that I faked it enough that it came off as if it was decent. And then I think Alex back then said something like, call back Monday and I'll have you back on. And we did another brief discussion, right? And then I wrote some articles back at the time about the power structure back then. And had I not done that, I probably never would have been able to get to the point of, hosting the 4th hour for the last 5 years. Right. So in other words, that was 2007, 8. I was terrible at doing what I did, but I did it and made myself do it, even though I was super nervous and I literally had sweat dripping down my cheek because I was so nervous. I faked it until I made it. And if you're a dude, like, you need the skill set. Most people need this skill set. I mean, maybe you're going to be some coder who sits behind a desk and you're never going to have to interact with people. I don't know. Maybe I guess there's some jobs or positions where you don't have to interact with people, but most people need the skill set of being able to interact with people and carry on conversations, initiate conversations, not be super awkward, right? They need the ability to do these things. So these kinds of skill sets are very important. They're very necessary. Even if you have some dork job, you're probably going to have at some point in your life a situation where you need to be able to have an interaction or do public speaking. But this is like 90% of people's fear. Like, their greatest fear is having to do some kind of public speaking, which is weird to me. But so faking it till you make it is a very important skill set in life. I don't mean being some big lying deceiver person. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having the ability to speak to an audience, make your point, be entertaining, carry on a conversation, be fun, be jovial, to talk to a girl. Like, I was talking to FDA the other day, and FDA was talking about how, like, dudes that are like 20 and under have never talked to a girl. Well, everything's texting. You can still go out in the world and not have to text people. You can still go out and initiate conversations with people. People are still people. Okay, we're not totally in the Matrix yet. So I just don't buy this. It's just not the case. And I've been at enough of my live events to see thousands of people over the years. We got a lot of dorks in the audience. I see a lot of dorks. So I'm trying to help you out, son. I'm trying to give you some non-dork advice to stop being a damn dork, dude. Just stop. Stop collecting toys. Stop Funko Pop shit. Stop playing so many video games. Stop with the damn sports hole.
So if you feel like you're anxious during a conversation, prepare for that conversation and then lie during the conversation. But instead of lying about the content, lie about how you actually feel. Lie through your behavior. Appear to be confident. Appear to be knowledgeable. Appear to be excited. It takes effort. It takes time. This is where the whole idea of fake it until you make it comes from. because the reality is that just because you're faking it doesn't mean that the audience knows you're faking it.
Yeah, see, this is exactly what I'm trying to tell you, right? Like this principle, this skill set thing that he's talking about here, if you're a super dork, you're going to have to get over this. Okay? You're going to have to, if you've never talked to a girl, you've never asked somebody out on a date, you're going to have to get over this shit. You're going to have to man up. Not in the boomer sense of man up and get a 40-hour-a-week work. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about getting over just pussy fears, dude. Dude, you can have like the most jacked ass alpha male dude who will not talk in front of a crowd, right? Or the most jacked ass alpha male dude, and then he gets to dating a girl and she immediately controls him with her vajayjay, just whipped. So get out of here with all of this like, oh, you just gotta be jacked, get in the gym. Yeah, I think you should get jacked and get in the gym as best you can, but there's a lot of jacked dudes that are gay, that are obsessed with damn bodybuilding and shit, being all oily, oiled up, freaking grease ball, man. Just gay stuff going on. Too much of that. Okay, gotta balance out some of this stuff. Don't be a oiled up gay grease ball muscle man. Damn Michael Landon, Little House on the Prairie, oiled up, chopping wood, dude. Chop wood, oiled up. That's gay. Get a chainsaw, bro. We don't. Nobody's impressed with you wearing suspenders and zipperless Little House on the Prairie Amish pants. Okay, gay. By the way, I have to say, Community is a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. I watched enough Community episodes here and there. It's kind of funny. Magnitude is funny, pop, but I have to say, man, that first season of Community, by the last 5 episodes, I mean, it's genius, dude. That shit was funny. And then season 2, man, we're watching Community. It's super funny, super funny. And Professor Chang, man, that dude is funny as hell. Gay! That's some funny shit, dude.
The other person doesn't know that you're faking it. And one of the big aha moments that the agency gave me was when I realized that I don't have to be the best shooter. I don't have to be the fastest driver. I don't have to be the strongest guy in the room. I just have to get people to think I can shoot well. I just have to get people to think I can drive fast. And if they believe it, it's just as effective as if it is true itself.
This is a little much. I mean, I don't know if I want to convince everybody that I'm the master of the 3-point shot when I can't even shoot 3-pointers, which I can, by the way. But this is a little much. I mean, I get the fake it till you make it. You know, if you're nervous speaking for an audience, you want to give the impression that you're an expert at speaking before an audience. But whatever, dude.
What about somebody who's looking to pry information out of somebody? How can they ask better questions? I mean, I've heard you talk about when somebody has like some super private information that they have about themselves that they're not proud of, they're not necessarily just going to open up and share it with their family members or the people that they care about most because of ego, because of shame, because of pride. But if you're somebody who kind of has a hunch that something's up with somebody, how can they get to the root of that?
This is it's a trickier question. It's a more nuanced question, right?
Gotcha.
Because there's 2 types of reasons that people hide information. There's reason number 1 that people hide information is because they respect the information. So they don't want to share it. So nobody wants to share their salary. Nobody.
This is getting a little boring again. Come on, dude. Say something cool.
Cover up or do not disclose information. And depending your spy's superpower to stay ahead of 99% of people. So it's a concept we call the 3 different lives. Everybody has a public life, everybody has a private life, and everybody has a secret life.
That's from Shogun, dude. Come on now. That's Shogun's. Remember Shogun? That was the 3 hearts from Shogun. Buddy says for 100 R's. What are the 100 R's? Give me advice on how to start a conversation with a female. That's a good question. So when I was single, and I got pretty good at this, I had a pretty good situation. My day game was better than my night game. I mean, I would go out with my brother and his, girlfriend and fiance, and we would go to bars and we would have fun at night. But I usually had a better situation going on when it was coffee shop day game or bookstore day game. That kind of stuff was a lot better for me. So figure out like what kind of atmosphere works better for you. But what I would say is, like, if I was a decent natured dude and I was looking for a potential mate or something like that, I would take books and I would go sit in a coffee shop or sit at some cafe or something like that and read my books when I had downtime and, find a cute girl. It's very simple. And then when she waits on you or whatever, you start striking up conversations with her over silly stuff. So I don't know, come up with a goofy quiz like, I'm doing a quiz for cute girls, but it's for a science project, but I don't know if you qualify yet. So I got to ask you some questions first to see if you make the cut. See, something like that. Just make up something on the spot, something goofy, something silly. So improv actually, I think, helps with this kind of stuff. That would be my recommendation for you. Gen Z, $3. Part of the difficulty of being Orthodox was accepting that my dad and my grandparents were wrong about some things. Newsflash, yeah, your parents and your grandparents probably got things wrong. I respect them, so it hurt. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. This is just part of growing up. Growing up means that you realize in your 20s especially, and then in your 30s for sure, my parents were humans. My parents got a lot of things wrong. And I will also get a lot of things wrong when I reach middle age. So you get a lot more understanding, hopefully, as you age, because you realize that at stages of life, people are going to make all the same mistakes that you made. And, you're not as hard on your parents when you get to be middle-aged because you realize, all right, well, I'm gonna make the mistakes that they made probably. And this know-it-all idealistic attitude when you're like, 19 or 20 is just retarded. It's just immaturity. So don't look down on your dad or your granddad. You just understand that that's natural. That's part of life. It's part of life to grow out of putting people on a pedestal, whether it's your dad or your mom or your grandpappy or a woman. As you mature, you start to realize that all humans are humans, and all humans are flawed and subject to some vice. None of them are perfect. And even the ones that you look up to and respect are still human beings who are fallen, and they're still going to make mistakes. And so having these wild, unrealistic standards and expectations for human beings is just kind of dumb, and it's just silly on your for you. Like, do you want to be held to those unrealistic standards? Well, guess what's going to happen when you get older? You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have some serious sins in your life. Unless you're some super saint, which is probably not 99.999% of us, you're probably going to make a big mistake at some point. Do you want everybody judging you with the exact same stringent standard that you're judging everybody when you're 22 years old and you know everything and you're perfect and you got everything figured out? No. So you haven't even messed up yet, is what I'm trying to say. If you're 19, 20, 25, you've not even made huge mistakes yet. But you will. You will. Mud, $5. I was wrong once, but I was only 3 years old. I didn't like it, so I was never wrong again. Now that's a humble man right there. That's a man who knows and understands humility. Guys, if you would hit like and share. We'll give Andrew a little more time, and then we'll move on to something else.
The public life is the life that you live every day. It's the life that you show your neighbors. It's the life that you show your friends. It's the life that you brag about. It's the life you put up on Instagram. It's not real. It's just public. If it was real, you would feel much less good about it, right? I mean, women put on makeup to hide their real face. Men put on t-shirts that make their bodies look more fit than they really are. We all put on deodorant to smell better than we really smell. So that's all public life kind of stuff. So of course, the smile that you wear when you really hate the person, that's public life. So everybody has a public life. And we all have to understand that when we meet somebody, the person we're really talking to is their public life. It takes time and it takes effort to connect with somebody to a place where they're willing to shed their public life and let you into what we call their private life. Inside that private life is where people will share private secrets, like their salary or their mortgage or some like less important.
Well, now while we're on this topic of dating, this is actually kind of relevant for that. I don't think he necessarily meant this to be for like male-female date stuff, but I will say that because the last guy asked a question about dating, one thing I've noticed with a lot of nerds and guys that are not used to spending time around women or going on many dates, and this happens especially in the Orthodox, the religious sphere, dudes are just not, they don't get it. Okay, dudes think that the way to go about this is the logical way. They think that if I'm going to go on a date with a girl, then I want to first date, lay out all of my intentions and tell her that I'm expecting to get married and we want to have this many kids and I want to do it within 3 years and I have this business proposal that it's like a contract or some shit. Dude, no. There is a natural progression to relationships. And this is something that dudes don't understand. Dudes aren't taught this. Dudes got to figure this out on their own. There is a game that has to be played in a male-female relationship, and it has to go through necessary stages. You can't leap from stage 1 to first date. Tell me whether you're ready to get married. And I'm not joking. Like, I'm hearing a lot of girls talking about this being a problem with nerdy, idealistic, Orthodox convert dudes and religious guys. It's just, dude, it's like the guy asking the girl out, talking about spiders, using spider riz. What's your favorite spider? Do not use that unless you're joking and can pull. That's actually a funny way to talk to a girl in a joke. Like if you can intentionally show that you're joking, but if you're a nerdy dude, walking around like you got a stick in your butt, like all the nerds do, can't even walk right. No, don't use spider riz, which is a true story, right? Jamie tweeted about this and it blew up on Twitter, and all the dorks on Twitter were going after Jamie when Jamie was actually correct. But dude, shit's so weird now that actually spider riz would probably actually work. Maybe we need to figure out a way to work this into, like, I'm going to teach y'all spider game. The story was that there was this nerdy Spectrum dude, and I don't remember where, this was at a church, the Orthodox church somewhere, and he liked this girl, and he wanted to go talk to her in church, and all he could think to do was ask her what her favorite spider was. Jamie's in there cracking up, but like, no, this is a true story. And then so Jamie told this story, and all of Twitter, all the dorks on Twitter blew up at Jamie. And I'm like, no, you dorks are the ones that are the problem, not Jamie. Spider Riz is not going to work unless it's an emo chick who would love Spider Riz. Then it would work. That's a true story. And then the reason that I'm bitching at the dorks is because of all the dorks coming after Jamie. This is mean of you to make fun of him. How dare you? No, dude, you need to be made fun of. You need to be. Too many dorks are out here running shit. And like Isaac says, the nerds are going to kill us all, dude. There's a reason why bullies have a role in society. Bullies got to work the nerd out of you. It's like a chef working the nerd out of the dough. Why are you my viewers? Yeah, well, life's got stuff in it that's going to hurt your feelings, dude. Grow up. Face the facts, son. But no, that's what I'm saying, Joe, is that the spider riz game actually would work if you could do it the right way. That's actually a pretty genius way. So if you're a single dude and you play this right, then, you know, you're at the coffee shop. You got a cute waitress coming over to you in the cafe. She's giving you your mocha chocolate or whatever it is you get. All right. And you say, hey, let me ask you a question. Come here. And by the way, throw in something like you didn't bring this drink right? So get her a little off kilter. By the way, I asked for no cream. Excuse me. Let me ask you a question. Spiders. What's your favorite? That would actually work, dude. Spider riz. But it's got to be done the right way. Okay, if you walk in like a damn dork, like how dorks walk all frozen like this, and they walk really fast with like because there's something in their butt. You know how dorks walk with that weird gait, like all frozen up, stiff and weird, and they walk fast, like Napoleon Dynamite. Okay, if you walk, nah, don't do spider riz unless you can walk right, dude. Now, you're saying Dyer's teaching negging. Yes. It's got to be done the right way, though. In a fun, playful way, not in a mean way. If you try to be mean, it's going to come off weird, dude. You're psycho. What about lizards, though? Yeah, I mean, you could take it in a different direction. Spidergate, exactly. One Shot says, for $5, us bullies need to reclaim the mantle and restore the balance. That's exactly what I'm saying. This dude gets it. This dude gets it right here. He gets it. All right, that's enough of this CIA Afro, dude. We're gonna move on. This popped up and looked interesting to me. We're gonna watch a little bit of this. This is out of Germany. Spider is when you crawl across the ceiling and casually ask her out. That's what I'm talking about. That's that Black Widow game, baby. Jay, you're saying this, but dorks are going to try it and they're going to come off creepy. Yeah, see, they're missing what I'm saying. They're not getting it. They're missing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can pull this off by, you know, you dress like... Remember that episode of Arrested Development where George Michael decided he was going to get edge, and so he started wearing a leather jacket and glasses, and that was edge. And it's not going to work, right? You can't put on a leather jacket and sunglasses and then walk into the coffee shop and say, "What's your favorite spider?" It's not going to work, is it? Jamie, is it? Jamie said that's not going to work. Yeah, I like this, but no, being able to, if you spend several months in the gym, you're gonna start, I think, walking a little normal. I don't understand why nerds walk like that. It's weird. I don't get it. Like, how do you not walk normally? You know what I mean? I don't know what's going on with dorks, but all right, we're gonna shift over here into money. Okay, we're talking about getting paid. We're talking about the system. What are the elite doing? One of the things we do on this channel is we study the elite. We study their system. We study how they've controlled perception, how they control media, how they controlled money, okay? How they stash money, how they do what they do. So this popped up. This looks interesting. If it's not, we'll move on. Let's give it a shot here.
Germany's super rich. No other European country has as many billionaires. And while therefore...
I did not know that, by the way. I would have thought the UK, but then the UK, I guess, technically is not part of Brexit or whatever. I would have thought the city of London has more billionaires, but apparently Germany. But let's see what the German zillionaires are up to. What's their grind set?
Fortunes are growing, more and more Germans are living under the poverty line set by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD.
That, by the way, the OECD was set up by the OSS and the CIA to be the entity that would bring about the EU, and not many people know that.
The press frequently reports on the country's high income inequality and low social mobility, but little is known about the super rich.
Sure, money attracts success and success attracts money. I do believe that. I've experienced myself how you can suddenly connect with people
This dude looks like if you look at his face, this dude looks like a cross between Hulk Hogan and Stefan Molyneux. What the heck is going on here?
previously out of reach.
Who are Germany's super wealthy? How do they live? And how do they see the country they live in?
The way wealthy people in Germany are talked about bothers me, because it's sensationalizing and sycophantic, and in no way reflects what wealthy people have done and continue to do for this country.
By the way, the wealthy in the German elites are super degenerate, by the way. So this is also, I was interested in this also because, we hear a lot about, Israel, and then, Israel's degenerate. There's a lot of evil people, but there's a lot of Germans that are evil too, dude. Like the shit that Germans are into. Like, remember, there's a reason why they set up that PEDO experiment in Germany. Remember that? Where they put thousands of kids in creeper households, and the church was involved, by the way. Remember that? Oh, you didn't know that? Alex has talked about that forever. I'll show you what I'm talking about. And they called it some ridiculous name, like alternative families or something, some crazy shit like that. And then there's another, remember when they were pimping out they probably buried this story. Yeah, here we go. What? The Kindler Project in West Berlin routinely placed homeless kids with PDF because they would make ideal parents. And this was part of a CIA-connected program. Oh, it's just an experiment. Oh, yeah. German officials. Are you noticing, by the way, it's not just Jeff Stein McEffrey in America? Now, I want to see if this is the one talking about the nuns. Because the Roman Catholic Novus Ordo nuns were the ones pimping out the youths. Yeah, here it is. Here's your Novus Ordo. I can't believe that Voice of Reason was texting girls. What do you mean? That's a damn it's a PDF cult. Their thing is a damn gay cult, dude. What are you talking about? Yeetus Mimas $5. I met a cute Mennonite girl. Oh my gosh. She's interested in early church history. Is this a joke, or is this for? You need some Mennonite riz. You need some of that Ezekiel riz. You're gonna need some of that Joshua riz. Number 1, grow a beard. Number 2, shave your mustache. That's hitting on Amish Chicks 101. Zillennial, $3. A woman can end you at any moment. I don't know about all that, dude. What are you talking about? In the workplace, in personal life, in your family. Christians have no real answer to this. Sucks, you crybaby. Yeah, I'm the crybaby. Well, one answer to that is that in the Orthodox Church, for example, maybe not all areas of it, but in the Orthodox Church, there are other, what's the word I'm looking for here? There are other means by which people are held accountable. So if a woman, for example, did want to try this kind of a route, she may not. She may be risking everything, including her entire church life, to do this. Now, I guess technically, if she wanted to run off and go to some other church, she could probably do that. But there are other things holding people accountable outside of just the state and, you know, the ability of a woman to screw you over. So you're saying Christians have no real answer to this, but I mean, I think the Orthodox Church does have an answer to that because it's still a patriarchal system. Bay's Biker, $5. The Riz cheat code is to buy a motorcycle. A lot of girls have said that they like motorcycles. I'm more of a drive a nice kind of car person rather than a motorcycle, but also that might depend on your age too, right? So if you're like, you know, 45 and you're trying to get a Harley or something, that's corny as hell, dude. If you're 20 and you're driving a motorcycle, okay, that makes sense. But, you know, I think if you're a middle-aged person, better off to have like a Mercedes or something like that versus trying to be riding around in choppers or some shit when you're like 50. But I'm not a motorcycle dude, so I don't know. Maybe if you're in the sphere of motorcycles, I don't know. I'm just not a motorcycle person. All right, let's get back to the elites.
It creates this impression of rich people being like Scrooge McDuck, that they have these money bins in which they wallow in their coins.
Scrooge McDuck wants more, more, more. That's not my world. I like earning money, but not swimming in it.
We wanted to get closer to the discreet world of Germany's ultra-rich, of company owners and heirs worth millions. We wanted to find out what makes those on top of the world tick.
Well, millions, by the way, is actually not that much money in the big picture, right? So having millions of dollars means that you're going to live a nice lifestyle, but that's not like the zillionaire class. So this is probably going to be like class warfare type stuff. Like, oh yeah, the people with $2 million that own a local business, man, that's the 1%, bro. They're screwing us all over, dude. No, it's the 0.001% that have zillions of dollars that don't pay any taxes. That's the real elite, right? But people are dumb, and so they actually believe the class warfare stuff, that like the bad guys are the people that have a few $1 million and have the local business that's actually employing people, right? And the people that demonize them are like the zillionaire Bezos types who want a monopoly, who want to get rid of their competition. I mean, seriously, though, like leftists and normies are so stupid that they will do everything against their own self-interest to cuck themselves and to virtue signal themselves into like worshiping Bezos because, say, he puts up a gay flag on his profile or something, right? And all the leftists like go crazy, right? Meanwhile, they're in class warfare against the upper middle class person that they work for. This is how stupid these people are.
Every year, an exclusive event takes place in the Schloss Hotel Kronberg near Frankfurt, to which the public is not invited. It's the annual Hall of Fame evening for the business monthly Manager magazine. Hardly any other occasion in Germany draws as many wealthy business owners.
Esteemed presenters, dear jury members, dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Manager Magazine's Hall of Fame. When we first founded the Hall of Fame in 1992, we wanted to take a stand for excellence and unconditional entrepreneurship.
I mean, a lot of these German dudes do be looking pretty creepy, though. Let's be honest here. I mean, these people, they're kind of creepy.
And against faint-heartedness and averageness.
I mean, I feel like a lot of these people would be hunting me on an island. You know what I mean? I just don't feel like they're nice people. I just don't. And again, I'm totally contradicting what I said like 5 minutes ago, but like just the vibes I'm getting here, I do feel like these people would hunt me on an Indonesian island if they had the chance.
We begin our nominations today with Ralph Dommermuth. His company, United Internet, is valued at around 11 billion, and on our list of Germany's richest people, he ranks 25th, with a personal wealth of 4.5 billion euros.
Collectively, the guests at this elegant evening are worth billions of euros.
Which is weird because, I mean, isn't this pretty much a Fabian... This whole thing is Fabian socialism, right? Which is just like capitalist socialism, right? So it's such a bizarre thing. But what I'm trying to tell you is you can beat all these people. You know you can front run all these people? Yes, you in the audience can front run these people. I'm being 100% serious. Because it turns out that most of the billion boomers don't own any Bitcoin. And as I've been telling you, when you look at the limited supply that's available, when the billion boomers, when they figure it out, like Saylor did, who was late to the game, by the way, we beat Saylor by like 4 years. When they 3 years, 4 years. When they figured out, do you understand there's not enough for them to get it? There's not even that much in the supply. It's a supply shock. I keep telling you this. So there's this unique situation where you can front run the billionaires, the zillionaires, and the corporations. I already did. I ran all these people because they just now got into it. I ran Saylor. Now, he has way more than me, obviously, zillions, but celebrity zillions. But I'm saying it's not too late for you too. You can front run all of these goofy boomers.
This is the face of wealth in Germany, mainly male. And although we're close to the super rich
they hired Moby to be the MC of this.
Yeah, their world remains somehow out of reach. Hamburg, home to Manager Magazine's parent company, the Spiegel Group. Hardly any publication keeps closer tabs on Germany's ultra-rich. Every year, the magazine's team gathers in...
Oh, yeah, right. Like Der Spiegel, like these like liberal magazines are really like fighting for the working class. That's so fake.
Are there now? 180? 190? Last year it was 136, right?
No, last year it was around 170.
170, okay. Someone who wants to get on our list of 1,001 richest Germans needs to have around 100 million. That doesn't have to be money in the bank. Most people have it as assets or as property. But that's the ballpark we're looking for to be on our list of the richest Germans.
Editing.
Now, you know there's people with more money than that. I mean, even that's a little odd, too, isn't it? Like 100 million. I'm not saying that that's a lot of money, obviously, but, like, aren't there more billionaires than that in Germany? I would think. I don't know. But didn't they say at the beginning that there's more billionaires in Germany than anywhere else in the EU? Interesting.
Chief Steffen Klussmann has been around Germany's ultra-wealthy for years. What does it take to get on the list?
I'd say that the top 150 spots on our list will always go to company owners and heirs. Even if you're a chief physician, you'll need to see a whole lot of patients to become a billionaire. Managers also have a hard time getting that high up. Here in Germany, there's a debate about whether the heads of DAX companies earn too much. But if you compare it to what people in similar posts in the US, the UK or China earn, it's peanuts. So that alone can't ever make you one of the truly ultra-rich.
What? Being a manager, I can't make it into the $100 million billion class? What? No way, dude. All right, this is getting boring. Let's skip over here.
A great deal of love and sweat into estimating these fortunes, they're probably much bigger. Especially if we're talking about urban real estate, where prices have exploded over the past 10 years. A lot of people have doubled their property assets. So if you
It's German Moby, dude.
started with 5 billion in that market,
Der Moby! Die Moby!
you're likely to have 10 or 15 billion today.
Money makes money. But while rich Germans' fortunes have exploded since the financial crisis due to the increase in value of real estate, stocks and assets, those with average incomes have had to swallow losses. Even liberal economics institutes are concerned about social inequality in Germany. How do...
All right, I got to explain this to you because y'all are not understanding. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. How to explain this. Somebody had a good video on it. Who was that had that video? All right, let's try that. I don't know who this dude. Let's try this one out.
Bitcoin's supply crisis just got real. BlackRock says if every U.S. millionaire wanted just one Bitcoin, there just wouldn't be enough to go around. So with only 21 million Bitcoin ever, and millions already lost in the ether forever, the real supply is actually lower than people think. So BlackRock predicts Bitcoin demand will explode as institutions flood in, pushing scarcity to extreme level. So there's over 22 million millionaires in the US alone, but fewer than 18 million Bitcoin left to be owned. And despite critics claiming Bitcoin has like no intrinsic value, BlackRock says it's one of the most valuable.
So are you starting to understand, like, even if you're a millionaire and you wanted to, oh, I'm going to suddenly get some Bitcoin. What should I do? And then you start trying to get Bitcoin, right? Like, if all of the millionaires move in this direction, there's not enough. Don't you understand? That's what I'm saying. I'm not getting what I'm looking for here because... we watched somebody's video about this not too long ago. Anyway, the point is that it creates a supply shock. That's the point, right? Here we go. Let's try this guy.
So last week, we put out a video clip where I said, theoretically, if every millionaire in the world wanted to buy one Bitcoin, they wouldn't be able to. There's less Bitcoin in the world than there is millionaires. And we got a lot of flack for that in the comments.
It's just basic supply and demand.
But as you could see here, an article that BlackRock came out with very recently, one of the biggest global investment companies in the world, said themselves, to illustrate how few available Bitcoins there are, if every millionaire in the US asked their financial advisor to get them one Bitcoin, there wouldn't be enough. Listen, that day may not come where every millionaire in the world wants to buy a Bitcoin. But if it does,
it will.
It may be in your best interest now.
It will come. That's what I'm saying.
The super rich see this disparity.
So 99% of the people in the world don't own this yet. Most of the wealthy do not own this yet still. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the front run, guys. Don't you get it? Quantum Yakub became a member for 5 months. Speak some of that fake German. Ich liebe dich. Ich liebe dich, Frau. I love you, woman. I love you, Hausfrau. I took 2 years of German in college, by the way. I got A's. I don't remember much of it though, but I got A's.
The headline in the newspaper reads, "The rich are getting richer and richer," which is true. The rich are getting richer. Yes, it's true.
I guarantee it. I knew this was going to be some freaking class warfare type thing.
But it's also false. There are 20 million citizens in Germany who have assets worth between 100,000 and 1 million. So millions of people are getting richer. Now, the rich are getting richer even faster, because one factor is probably that they can dedicate much more time to increasing their wealth. Sarah Wagenknecht of the Left Party would likely say, split up your wealth. But my response is, I also do things for the world which I live in. I don't just take. I'm not a socialist, though. I can only do things because I have things.
Socialism is just based on envy.
Michael Otto is one of
the socialist just wants to reallocate the money so that he can get the money.
The rich whose wealth has increased. He successfully transitioned his mail order business into a digital enterprise. Over 20 companies now belong to the Otto Group. We wanted to know how Otto sees the debate about rich and poor. Do the rich understand the worries of the poor?
When people talk about those on top who don't understand those at the bottom, I wouldn't say that applies to me. Because I was not born rich. I came to Hamburg as a refugee from West Prussia, and my father had to start from scratch. That's why I absolutely do understand people living in poverty today. On the other hand, I'd also say that if Germany is getting more and more millionaires, meaning people with small...
This is German Leslie Nielsen. All right, this documentary is getting pretty boring. 20 million people watch this documentary. It's boring. It's boring as hell, dude.
Müssen es sehr schwer haben.
I told you that dude is Stefan Molyneux and Hulk Hogan mixed. Look at his eyes. It's Hulk Hogan, and then it's Stefan Molyneux.
Tougher time.
Manchmal sogar müssen es sehr schwer haben.
But there are plenty of heirs in Germany. Huge fortunes and thousands of companies have been passed from one generation to the next. There are heirs who don't want to, and others who shouldn't take over their parents' businesses. Succession is hugely important among Germany's richest. Michael Otto inherited the mail order company from his father and successfully managed it.
It will be hard if...
I thought it was going to have some interesting... This is boring as hell, dude. We're done with this. The problem with Germany's elite is they're boring. That's their problem. They're just boring as hell, dude. All right. Next up, the Mossad. Let's hear an interesting Mossad story. Let's learn about the elites and their machinations.
1960, Eli Cohen was working as an accountant, living a stable life with his new wife until he received a knock on his office door. The man at the door said he was an intelligence officer with Israel's Ministry of Defense. He offered Eli a job that involved traveling to Europe and Arab countries. Initially, Eli wasn't interested. He preferred to spend time with Nadia, who was pregnant with their first child, and even the offer of doubling his salary wasn't enough to sway him. However, about a month later, Eli learned he was being laid off due to cutbacks with only 10 days' notice. When the mysterious man from the Ministry of Defense reappeared offering the job again, Eli reconsidered. He trained secretly for months, where his memory and composure were rigorously tested, like glancing at a table of objects and recalling them in detail. Eli had a phenomenal memory. He could identify a car's make, model, and year with a glance. He learned how to spot a tail discreetly by glancing at reflections in shop windows to monitor those behind him without turning around. His trainer advised him that if anyone recognized him, he should...
Oh, I remember this guy. I remember reading about him in Syria, I think. I think I know about this one. This is interesting.
simply say that they were mistaken. During one exercise, he was stripped naked and forced into a freezing bathtub to test his resilience and ability to maintain an alias Mossad had given him. As author Ali Ben Hanan of Our Man in Damascus describes, for 6 minutes his teeth chattered convulsively.
Yes, I think we covered him in the Donald Bower book because one element of this story, if I recall, involved a degree of sexpionage.
Body turned blue and his eyes rolled in their sockets. After successfully completing his grueling training, Eli was ready for his first mission. Nadia only knew he had a job with the Ministry of Defense and that it required frequent travel and long periods abroad. She didn't know Ali was now Kamal Amin Tabet, a wealthy Muslim Arab businessman born in Beirut who grew up in Egypt. Ali's true background aided his cover. He had been born in Alexandria, Egypt, to a Jewish family from Syria. He had been involved in Zionist causes in Egypt after World War II and briefly trained in Israel. But in 1956, after the Suez Crisis, when the Egyptians seized control of the canal, leading Israel, the UK, and France to invade, Ali and many other Jews were expelled, and he moved to Israel. In 1961, Ali's...
And if you remember in the Quigley books, we learned that Disraeli and the Suez operation, that was all a Rothschild-controlled operation to get control of the Suez Canal. Most people don't talk about that I'm aware of, but Quigley does discuss that, and I just remember that.
First mission as an Israeli spy took him to Buenos Aires, Argentina, home to a large Syrian community. He immediately began learning Spanish with a private instructor to make his backstory of spending years doing business in Argentina convincing. He became a regular member of an Arab social club where he mingled with members of the Arab Muslim elite. Ali knew how to charm them. He knew how to make people feel important, a skill that worked to his advantage. Author Ben Hanan describes how he charmed the manager of a large trading company by listening attentively to a long, dull discussion about cattle. When he heard that the manager exported meat to Israel but not Syria, Ali cleverly said, "You mean to say you sell meat to the Zionists and not to the fatherland?" Aligning himself with Arab nationalist sentiments made his...
Need some of that Zionist chicken, baby. He's ready to get some of that Zionist chicken popping off. What's up, y'all? Welcome, everybody. We are diving into the grindset mindset of the elite. And if you want to support this stream, you can do so by the super chat function right there. We're checking out some different documentaries, some histories. We're having fun. We've been popping off. We've been impersonating. We've been crypto broing. We've been doing it all. And having a blast on the way. And thank you so much for joining me on this journey of making you crypto zillionaires.
Ever more convincing. Through a connection with a trading company manager, Ali was invited to a birthday celebration at the Syrian embassy where he was introduced to General Amin al-Hafez, the military attaché at the embassy. General al-Hafez was one of the leaders of the Ba'ath Party in Syria, working...
Now, this is interesting because, remember, we know from the Miles Copeland book that the CIA was very interested early on in supporting and bringing the Ba'athists to power. The CIA had a huge role in the Ba'athist Party in Syria and in Iraq. And at that time, they really thought that they could utilize pan-Arabism or Arab nationalism to create a kind of a modernized, industrialized, pro-Western Middle East that would work in the globalist interest after the period of the demise of the British Empire, when the CIA was coming to power and really stepping into that role during the Cold War. However, it didn't work. They decided that the Arab nationalist, pan-Arabist, quasi-secular update approach would never work because the Arab mind was so tribal and was so locked into these divisive relationships that it would never happen. So they went with the older British model of aligning themselves with and running and supporting the radical Muslim groups.
Against Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser. Although
also, too, we see that, as we noted with Mark Hackard's interviews that we used to do, the two best people at putting undercover operatives into other countries for lifelong missions are Russians and Jews. The NKVD was very good at this with their Soviet illegals program that we've done many interviews with Mark on. And, of course, Israeli intelligence is also very good at this.
Nasser promoted Arab unity. Ba'athists felt he was prioritizing Egypt's interests and sidelining Syria's. They also viewed him as too accommodating to the West. Ellie sensed the general's ambition and flattered him, saying, "Why, General, everyone's saying you're one of the leaders of the party that'll put an end to Syria's inferiority." The remark had the desired effect. Author Ben Hanan described how Al-Hafez's face lit up. Impressed, the general invited him to his office, sharing hints of his political plans that his party would soon come to power. Israel was wary of the Ba'ath Party's rise due to its strong Arab nationalist and anti-Israel stance. Ellie listened carefully to every detail and reported back to Tel Aviv each morning. He translated his intelligence reports into numerical codes using a codebook written in invisible ink. Each coded message was recorded on tape, and he used a transistor radio with a hidden transmitter to broadcast the message over a secure frequency. To maintain,
I'm almost positive that this story has some sexpionage component to it, because I know it's in the Boert book that we read. Excuse me, Boert, was that his name? But this doesn't look like it's going to talk about any honeypots. Aha! Wait. No, this is Reddit. Ah, no, I was right. Look at that. Yes, exactly. Have we heard this before? Does this sound familiar at all? Does this sound like anybody you've heard of? Jeff Stein, somebody? Interesting. I remembered. I was right. I told you so.
In secrecy, he used a chemical mixture to destroy the codebook after each use. In January 1962, Ellie was reassigned to Damascus, Syria, under the guise of a wealthy businessman eager to invest in his beloved homeland. He rented a luxurious villa not far from Syrian army headquarters. Ellie gained unparalleled access to Syria's military elite thanks to the parties he was invited to and the ones he threw. He befriended George Salem Saif, an announcer director of Radio Damascus, the official broadcasting service of the Syrian government. Through George, he met Colonel Salim Hatoum, who revealed that the Ba'ath Party planned a military takeover. Colonel Hatoum shared sensitive information with Ellie about the vulnerabilities along the border between Syria and Israel. He described a hidden network of underground passageways secretly occupied by hundreds of Syrian soldiers ready to launch attacks from concealed positions. He even invited Ellie on a tour. On the tour, led by Lieutenant Mazi Zaharuddin, Ellie saw how the Syrians held a strategic advantage from their elevated positions in the Golan Heights, giving them a clear view of Israeli territory below. The lieutenant even showed him a map detailing where fortifications would be built in the area.
What do you want to bet this video isn't even going to mention the honey trap stuff, right?
Another mission, tracking down former Nazis. Tel Aviv assigned him to find Franz Rademacher, a Nazi war criminal hiding under an alias somewhere in Buenos Aires. Rademacher feared Mossad would do to him what it had done to Adolf Eichmann, one of the architects of the Holocaust, whom Mossad had abducted in Argentina and sentenced to death. Ellie turned to his wealth.
Interesting how these people can be hunted down, but no one can hunt down PDFs. Interesting.
The Ba'ath Party overthrew the government, and General Al-Hafez became Syria's president. Ellie now had direct access to Syria's most powerful figure. To celebrate, Ellie threw the new president an extravagant party at his villa.
Extravagant parties, aka ORGY, and Jeff Stein McEffrey style operations.
At the party, Ellie met an engineer involved in the Jordan River Diversion Project, a plan to cut off Israel's water supply.
So she just glossed over the eyes wide shut stuff.
The engineer boasted that their dams were built to withstand Israeli bombs. Ellie relayed it all to Tel Aviv, enabling Israel to map Syria's defenses precisely. On November 13, 1964, when Syrian forces fired on Israeli tractors near the border, Israel's Air Force launched precision airstrikes on Syria's Jordan River diversion equipment, temporarily halting Syria's plans. Later, during the Six-Day War in 1967, Ellie's detailed reports on Syrian fortifications in the Golan Heights proved instrumental, enabling Israel to capture the strategic territory quickly.
I wonder if they're censoring or are holding back the honey trap stuff that he was doing, because a lot of this is not even touching that
aspect of his trip. To confirm his suspicions, he held a secret meeting with top officials, forbidding them from sharing details with anyone. Soon after, he tuned into Israel's Arabic broadcast and was shocked to hear the details. He realized the leak was likely through radio transmissions, since the information was broadcast so quickly. Around this...
Yeah, we covered that when we covered this book about him, and or the chapter that mentioned that was about him. And he eventually got caught and tortured and hung, I think. Let's go to that part.
Syrian army is in a state of alert, but Eli transmitted the message at slower speeds so Tel Aviv would understand that he had been captured. President
They caught him through his radio transmissions.
Hafez staged a show trial with the outcome already determined. On May 8, 1965, Eli Cohen was sentenced to death for espionage. Nadia listened to the radio as Eli's sentencing was broadcast. Author Ben Hanan describes her reaction. With the last of her strength, Nadia Cohen pounded the radio in front of her. Her fist smashed the glass and hurled the radio to the ground. Then, with a hysterical scream, she rushed at the windows and smashed all the window panes one after the other. Eli's brother rushed to her side to comfort her. Syria rejected Israel's offer to exchange him for 10 Syrian spies and millions in aid and supplies. Eli's plight garnered sympathy and support across the Western world. Canadian Prime Minister John Diefenbaker begged the Syrian president to reconsider. The Pope sent a personal message to President al-Hafez.
The Pope. Why is Paul VI trying to rescue these Mossad eyes wide shut operatives? That's interesting. I didn't know that part of the story. But hey, the papacy seems to love their sexual degenerates. In fact, I think that's probably the way to become the Pope.
Yet nothing would change his mind. He felt betrayed by a man whom he considered a close friend. Al-Hafez personally interrogated Eli and was shocked to discover Eli wasn't Muslim. He had trouble reciting the opening chapter of the Quran, one of the most important verses in Islam. He was stunned to realize Eli was Jewish. Before his public execution, Eli was permitted to write a letter to his wife and children. To my dear Nadia and my dear family, I'm writing you these last words. My beloved Nadia, take care of yourself and our children. Look after them, care for them, and give them the best education possible. You are free to remarry, to give our children a father. I'm begging you not to mourn for the past, but to look to the future. I am sending you my last kisses, and to the rest of my family, especially my mother. Please pray for my soul. He was permitted to pray with a Jewish rabbi. Eli's execution was broadcast live on Syrian television. I've blurred the image out of respect and consideration for viewers. Despite decades of appeals from Eli's family, Syria has refused to return his body and has not disclosed where Israel's most celebrated spy is buried. Eli Cohen's work reminds us of the importance of safeguarding what matters most, whether it's a nation or, on a personal level, your privacy and security. Every piece of information floating around online about you is...
Now, that was the sanitized version, and here is the... Is this like Borat? Oh, so Borat's going to play him or did play him? What the heck is going on here? He was known for having 17 lovers and getting into the pockets of the rich and powerful by organizing eyes wide shut parties for the elites. Interesting. I did not. That's surprising. I wonder if the Sacha Baron Cohen version will show the ORGY parties. Interesting. But are you noticing a pattern here with Jeff Stein McEffrey and these kinds of operations? I'm starting to see a pattern. What do y'all think? By the way, if you want to support the stream, you can do so with Super Chats. Super Chats are done through Streamlabs or through YouTube natively. And I want to remind you guys, too, that we do have a show sponsor, and that sponsor is Chalk.com, the best in supplementation on the interwebs. Let me tell you a little bit about Chalk.com right here. I
want to show off.
All right here.
I'm going to put you on something crazy real quick. Most of these Zoomer gym bros are consuming macro-guzzling synthetic dyes and synthetic sweeteners on the daily. They don't even know it. Goofy AF. There's nothing great about that. Do not listen any further unless you are an alpha or sigma male. This is important and there could be consequences. There's a new certified sigma male pre-workout powder for sigmas only. It is guaranteed to empower you to dominate your co-workers, fire your boss, aggressively gamble, or invade a small village. Chad Mode stands out from the crowd by excluding artificial flavors, preservatives, sweeteners, and dyes. We've even avoided so-called natural flavors, which are actually not natural at all, ensuring a clean and effective formula. Experience the pure goodness of Chad Mode, colored with organic blue spirulina extract, organic lemon, cherry, and organic maple crystals. Forget synthetic caffeine made in a sketchy Chinese lab. Embrace the natural power of organic green coffee bean extract, which will get your mind going and pump you up to the max. Chad Mode is made in America with all clean ingredients, the first clean pre-workout of its kind. Why are these people adding synthetic sweeteners to every single pre-workout when there are many studied downsides to consuming nasty fake sucralose? Each dose of Chad Mode contains the kick of a cup and a half of coffee, delivering a surge of energy alongside essential vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and herbal extracts. Chad Mode will allow you to fire your boss and dominate anyone who opposes you. Chad Mode will make you more dominant in your daily life, so proceed with caution. It's as simple as mixing 1 or 2 scoops of our fine powder into water or juice, providing you with a delicious, energizing beverage featuring a burst of sweet organic fruit flavor. Chad Mode will give you the extra edge you desperately crave. Don't miss out. Secure your supply of Chad Mode on TikTok Shop with a limited time massive discount. Elevate your workouts and supercharge your days. Chad Mode, not for your average gym bro zoomer who consumes synthetic blue dyes on the daily. Buy on the TikTok Shop now with a massive discount provided by TikTok for a very limited time. Buy now while this is still available, or go to chalk.com and use code in caption. Chad Mode has been flying off the shelves because it's the first of its kind, certified for alpha males only. Do not buy if you are a beta. We will refund your money. I'm going to put you on something crazy
I want to
real
show off
quick.
something that we're all proud of. I got a browser here. This is Jay Dyer's much vaunted, much sought after Philosophy 101. Now, he just got this page up. We are just testing it out. You guys are some of the first people in the world to see it. I want to say, for my part, it's not Philosophy 101. I think this is a mistitling. I really think of it as like Philosophy Unleashed, because a Philosophy 101 course, they give you kind of some useless information that you can't make sense of. Jay actually lays out over 12 weeks, dozens and dozens of hours put into just the presentation of this, let alone the hundreds and thousands of hours of research that it takes to have a coherent evolution and history of the origins of philosophy, the uses of philosophy, the different ways to look at it over time, and how that has been brought about to what we have today, which is almost an absence of philosophy on the objective logic and reason side, and an overabundance of woke philosophy that is irrational, is made up day by day as people are like, I think we should bring racism back, and then here's a justification, and then it gets wokeified and spread out, and then all of a sudden you have a bunch of communist, socialist ideas where you become the property in action. You need to be able to stand your own ground. It helps to have a foundation in philosophy because it's a method to find truth. When you get down to it, philosophy is there because you love truth enough to go and learn how to find it because it's valuable. So,
all right, so there's a little reminder that you can still get the philosophy course with Richard Grove. You can still support the stream via going over there and buying the chalk.com Chad Mode and the beloved Tomcat Ali, which I recommend everybody get. Use the promo code J40 to get 40% off, or J44Life to get 44% off. And I will be speaking at the 3rd Annual Ludwell Orthodox Conference in Stafford, Virginia. You can get your tickets right here in the show description and in the chat. Of course, Jim Jatras will be there. Metropolitan Jonah will be there. Father John Whiteford will be there. Or I don't know if he will. Dr. Don Livingston will be there. I'm not familiar with him. I don't know these other individuals, but I'm sure it's going to be an amazing time. So you can get your tickets for that September 6th. And what else? Ralph says for $5, Jay, an atheist said God just is a brute fact, like the claim for the universe. How is saying God just is not the same thing? I don't understand. Like, why would an atheist say God is a brute fact? I don't get it. It's an odd atheist. I am coming from a theistic view. I want a clarification. An atheist said God is just a brute fact, like they claim for the universe. How is saying God just is not the same thing? I don't understand, Ralph. Help me. Can you explain in the chat? I'll read the chat if you comment. I don't get it. Be sure and follow me over here, by the way, on X. Sounds like a lot of y'all in the chat are way behind. The laws of logic just are, then is that the same as God is? Well, we don't claim God just is, so I'm not sure where you're... I mean, the transcendental argument is not arguing that God just is. It's saying that God is the grounding for the metaphysical categories and transcendental preconditions that make knowledge possible. So we don't argue God just is, or God is a brute fact. All right, thank you guys so much. A lot of fun today. We had a comedic, fun first hour. We got into some interesting espionage and spy stuff that hopefully can help us understand the elite grindset mindset. And if you would like to support me through Bitcoin, this is my wallet address right there. You can support me right there. That is for Bitcoin donations and support. You can also, by the way, now purchase my books and products in the shop with crypto. You can, obviously Bitcoin is preferred, but if you buy the other ones, I will immediately convert those into Bitcoin as well. So you can still, I don't like Ripple, but if you want to buy my book in Ripple, you can, and I will immediately convert the Ripple into Bitcoin. So that's a new feature over at the shop at jaysanalysis.com. Go ahead and get those Volume 3 of Esoteric Hollywoods locked in. Pre-order them. They're still available. By the way, I think it might be a little bit long. It might not be July for Esoteric Hollywood 3. It might be pushed back a little bit because I spent 4 hours almost the other day on the phone with the publisher, rewriting and going through some stuff. So it might be a little bit longer for Esoteric Hollywood 3. I think that's everything, though. Cool beans, guys. If you would, like, share. We'll be doing more streams covering all this kind of esoteric material. Hopefully also some self-helpy type stuff that's actually legit self-helpy stuff, not like weird creeper gay stuff. Otherwise, be sure and
text all your friends very dirty things. This is a Voice of Reason signing